So welcome back to the second in Health Diagnostics series of videos on encouraging behaviour change. In the previous video, we looked at the stages of change model and explored how this might be something that you'll find useful to have in the back of your mind when thinking about and discussing behaviour change with clients. In this video, we'll look more in depth at the approach and techniques that define motivational interviewing. The material here is drawn from various sources, including the work of Stephen Rollnick, William Miller and Brett Nichols. At the basis of motivational interviewing, or MI, is Pascal's assertion that people are more convinced by reasons they've discovered themselves than they are by those found by others. MI builds on this by acknowledging that clients will likely find their own arguments for behaviour change more compelling than those imposed by a health professional. MI therefore essentially aims to encourage clients to talk themselves into making a change. So how should the healthcare professional view their role? In short, their task is to guide the client whilst listening to their concerns, to clarify their priorities whilst boosting their confidence, and ultimately to collaborate with them on a plan for change. In terms of the evidence that underpins this style of counselling, a systematic review from 2005 found that motivational interviewing had a significant effect in 3 out of every 4 studies looked at, and it also performed better than traditional advice giving in around 80% of studies. One key idea in MI is that having conflicting feelings in relation to lifestyle behaviours is normal, and that working through these is a necessary step in the change process. These conflicting feelings are known as ambivalence, and rather than being viewed as a problem, MI encourages working with and exploring these feelings. MI is, in this sense, very much about attuning to the client's ambivalence and identifying with their readiness to change. From this collaborative position, practitioners can begin thoughtfully using strategies to help clients clarify their own reasons for making a change. In order to use these strategies effectively, it is, first and foremost, crucial for the practitioner to fully engage with the client. This engagement helps establish the foundations necessary for a constructive consultation, and it broadly involves connecting with the person you're working with and ensuring that they feel understood. In addition to the polite basics of maintaining eye contact and a friendly demeanour, it's particularly at this point in the process that you might have at the back of your mind what we discussed in the previous video, and be asking yourself, how does this person feel about their behaviour, and how ready are they to make a change? The genuine curiosity that's often demonstrated by respectfully inquiring in this way will, in itself, often go a long way towards helping to create an atmosphere of engagement. Key conversational techniques in this process include asking open questions and using reflective listening. Both of these techniques are in fact central to MI and will be important when you come to focus the conversation and encourage your clients to elicit their own reasons for change. As a rule, open questions are the kind that encourage openness of thought. Closed questions, on the other hand, invite shorter, more specific answers. Posing open questions can therefore be an extremely useful way to encourage the client to think freely around a topic and communicate their feelings, as opposed to directing them to simply giving yes or no answers. In practice, open questions may begin with words like, "How do you think? Can you tell me a bit about?" or "What sorts of things?" In the context of a cardiovascular health check then, for example, an exchange might sound something like the following. "So given what you've learnt about your health status, which of these lifestyle factors do you feel are most important to you?" "Well, I really ought to do something about my smoking." "Is that something that you'd like to discuss?" "I suppose we could. What about it?" "I'd simply want to ask you how you feel about it." The hope is that through asking open questions like these, in a non-judgmental way, the practitioner may be able to draw out the client's own thoughts and any ambivalence they may feel towards their behaviour. Should such a response be elicited from the client, reflective listening will play a crucial role. Reflective listening broadly involves thoughtfully rephrasing and repeating a client's own words in such a way as to show attentive engagement. Reflections may come across as short summaries, guesses, or hypotheses. So in response to a client saying, "I probably have to do something about my drinking," reflections may in practice sound something like, "Do something," or "You sound concerned," or "I get the sense that this is something that you'd like to change," or perhaps, "It feels as though this is important to you." As the examples suggest, being able to do this effectively is very much about listening carefully. In addition to generating an atmosphere of engagement, paying careful attention to a client's words will allow you to get a sense of where the client might like to focus. As a rule of thumb, it will often be easier to focus on one behaviour at a time rather than attempting to make a whole raft of lifestyle changes in one go. Focusing can also be useful if, as a practitioner, you want to raise a potentially difficult subject in a non-judgmental way. You might do this by mentioning the subject as one of many that you could focus on, and then give the client the chance to decide what they would like to talk about. So as you guide the conversation towards focusing on the issues that the client regards as their priority, a useful tool to draw on is the importance confidence scale. This simple ruler from 1 to 10 can be used to swiftly establish A, how important a certain change may be to a client, and B, how confident they are to make that change. Used well, the importance confidence scale can positively influence discussions in a number of ways. Firstly, it can indicate whether the discussion is appropriately focused on the behaviours that the client feels they're ready to change. If importance is low and confidence is high, it's unlikely that the client and the practitioner will take meaningful steps towards changing their behaviour under discussion. In these situations, it may be worth reassessing the focus of the conversation or discussing what it would take for the issue to become more important to the client. If, on the other hand, importance is high and confidence is low, it may be the case that the client doubts their ability to take action and maintain a change. In this instance, a practitioner might ask the client what it would take for them to increase their confidence. Boosting strengths and affirming previous successes may also be helpful here. Working realistically, however, you may not get onto the planning stages with this individual. Accepting this and aiming to move the client on from their current position, even if only slightly, may well prove to be a more manageable and productive perspective to have in these instances. If both confidence and importance are high, the client may be ready to set goals and might even be open to collaborating on a plan for change. Secondly, in the context of a cardiovascular health check, the importance confidence scale may provide a good marker to revisit at the end of the session in order to establish whether the results and discussions change the client's perceptions in any way. Thirdly, careful use of the importance confidence scale can also encourage clients to evoke their own reasons for making a change. As a practitioner, your central task is to openly inquire and reflect what you hear in such a way as to elicit and strengthen the voice inside the client that is positive towards the idea of lifestyle change. Offering affirmations where appropriate by placing a specific emphasis on reflecting positive change talk and summarizing the client's comments and concerns are two further techniques that make up the practical pillars of the MI style of counselling. These can feasibly be used throughout a discussion, and they may be thought of as techniques that exist in conjunction with the open questions and reflections already discussed. The acronym OARS might help you remember these key conversational elements. In practice, summaries may sound something like, "Well, I'm drinking quite a lot now, yes." "So you feel your alcohol intake is quite high?" "Yes, but I could see myself addressing that." "So you've got some concerns about your current drinking levels, but you could see yourself broaching these and making a change." "I think I could moderate my drinking if I were to try, yes." Affirmations, on the other hand, may resemble something like, "You come across really confident in this," or "You're sure of your own ability to control your drinking," or "You recognise that this could be really important for you." To reiterate something that we keep alluding to, the evoking process must be client-led. This point is fundamental. Perhaps chiefly, MI is the practice of working within the context of the client's life in order to elicit and strengthen their own motivation for change. In doing so, practitioners may often find the need to resist the righting reflex. This refers to occasions when a problem is identified, which the practitioner immediately tries to fix with advice and suggestion. Whilst the desire to help may be at the heart of this, committing the righting reflex may in fact have the opposite effect. Trying to fix a client's concerns with directive advice may actually encourage them to focus on and voice reasons for not changing their behaviour. Within MI, this would be referred to as the client offering up sustained talk. Whilst we've said that MI aims to strengthen individuals' motivation for change, sustained talk may also be important to explore and shouldn't be ignored at the expense of only strengthening change talk. Exploring a client's reasons for continuing with the behaviour may in fact be key to resolving their ambivalence. As we've said, the resolution of ambivalence is a key process in the change journey. If you find the client is giving a lot of reasons for maintaining their current behaviour, it may be useful to side with the negative and reflect back with something like, "So it sounds like you're saying it wouldn't be possible for you to change this." Whilst practitioners would want to avoid using a reductive reverse psychology, in some circumstances, openly accepting and reflecting a client's low expectations can help to show how they may in fact be exaggerating their inability to change their lifestyle. So when it comes to the question of whether a practitioner should give lifestyle advice, MI does allow for this, albeit when the client has expressed an interest in it being offered. If advice and suggestion is given without it having been requested or desired by the client, the likelihood is that the health professional's attempts will fall on deaf ears. Whilst health options software can be used to encourage people to reflect on their health in ways that we're going to discuss next, if the client genuinely has no interest in changing their behaviour, this is their choice. It's one that they're entitled to make, and the practitioner can't bear responsibility for it. Should this be the case, it may simply be helpful for a practitioner to take a non-judgmental approach to informing their client that there is support available should they ever change their mind. For those using health options software to deliver cardiovascular health checks, there are a series of built-in tools designed to support the motivational and goal-setting aspects of the consultation. Having gone through the tests that comprise the health check, clients are presented with their CVD risk score. This is done using visual graphics, heart age calculations, and simple-to-understand betting probabilities. These uniquely personal risk calculations mean that clients are largely able to draw their own conclusions in regard to their lifestyle without practitioners needing to extol the virtues of living healthily. If a 50-year-old client has, for example, come out with the heart age of a 60-year-old, a practitioner might ask how the person feels about their score. In these sorts of circumstances, practitioners may well find clients expressing some concern over their health status. Should it be of interest to the client, the software allows for a what if you change scenario that can be used to demonstrate the potential positive effects of making lifestyle changes. This functionality has the important effect of helping to develop discrepancy between where a client currently sees themselves on the one hand, in comparison to where they could be on the other. In behaviour change theory, this process of distinguishing where someone is in the present moment compared to where they see themselves in the future is regarded as an important part of developing a firm and compelling change plan. In short, using this strategy efficiently in conjunction with the software can help clients that are unhappy with their health status gain tangible insights into the health they could enjoy as a result of making lifestyle changes. Before the client leaves their consultation with all this information printed into a personal report, a practitioner is able to use the software to make any necessary referrals. Practitioners may also wish to use this referral screen as a tool with which to summarise and reaffirm anything in particular that's been discussed over the course of the session. So in the health check context that we've been talking, there may be a relatively limited time in which to deliver the kinds of behavioural interventions discussed here. If, however, practitioners are able to behave as though they've got the time to listen, a productive session will very often occur quicker. What's more, whilst we've discussed the risk calculation tools that will mainly be used at the end of a session, the principles of non-judgmental engagement, curiosity and collaboration should be present right from the point at which the client walks through the door. If this kind of atmosphere can be achieved, clients may ultimately feel inclined and ready to connect with the issues that are important to them and explore the options available. Summing up then, it's worth saying that whilst the individuals you're working with are ultimately responsible for their own health, the partnership they have with you as a practitioner can represent a crucial point in their change journey. If the consultation can be seen to involve respect, compassion and evocation, it might just function as the gateway to better health and well-being that the client may have had in mind. So thanks for watching, and in the next video we'll be looking at how you can work towards a specific change plan and help set realistic goals with the individuals that you're working with.